Alina Cross stood alone in the middle of the massive alien courtroom. Her hands were chained behind her back. Cold metal cuffs bit into her skin. Her clothes were torn and dusty. The air smelled strange like smoke and something rotting. Thousands of aliens sat behind energy shields, watching her. Some had 3 eyes. Some had wings. One had no face at all. They stared with cold interest, like scientists watching a dangerous animal. Above her, a voice echoed from floating speakers. It spoke in perfect English. "This is not a trial. This is a test. You are Alina Cross of Earth. You have been chosen as your species champion." The crowd laughed. Alina didn't move. She just stared straight ahead. Her heartbeat was loud in her ears, but her face showed no fear. She remembered her training. Never let them see your fear. Fear is blood to them. A large screen lit up behind her. It showed Earth, then explosions, burning cities, screaming people. "If she survives the trials," the voice continued, "Earth may be considered for peace. If she fails, Earth will burn." The crowd roared again. Some were clapping. Others were making strange growling sounds that meant laughter in their language. A high platform rose in front of her. On it sat 12 alien judges, each one from a different empire. One of them, tall and golden, leaned forward. "You are not expected to survive," he said. "This is mercy. We usually wipe out new species without warning, but your people begged. They sent you, a young untrained girl. How pitiful." Alina kept her voice calm. "Then let's begin." The judges looked at each other, surprised, amused. A few showed interest for the first time. The golden judge smirked. "Very well." The ground shook beneath Alina. A door opened in the arena floor. Steam rose. The scent of oil and metal filled the air. The voice returned. "Round 1. The machine beast of Krithan Vorkor." A massive shape climbed out of the pit. Its body was made of metal plates. Sparks danced across its joints. Red eyes glowed from a round helmet-like head. Its fists were the size of barrels. The crowd cheered louder. Vorkor slammed its fists together. The sound echoed like thunder. Alina didn't flinch. The chains on her wrists dropped. A signal in. Her ear said, "Trial begins now." She backed up quickly, looking for cover, but the arena was open. Just hard ground, and walls too high to climb. Vorkor rushed forward, fast despite its size. Each step made the floor tremble. Alina rolled to the side just as its fist came down. The ground cracked where she had stood. She ran, not away but toward it. She slid under its legs and jumped up behind it, looking for weak points. No gaps in the armor, but one thing caught her eye: small vents on its back, maybe for cooling. She picked up a sharp piece of arena stone and threw it at the pie. Vent, it bounced off. Too weak. Vorkor turned and charged again. She barely dodged, scraping her arm on the sharp edge of a broken tile. Blood ran down her arm. The crowd loved it. Alina was breathing hard now. She had no weapon, no armor. Just her speed, her eyes, and her instincts. She grabbed a handful of sand and dust and waited. Vorkor raised both fists. It was going to crush her. She waited. Waited. Now. She jumped aside and threw the dust into its eyes. The red lights dimmed for a second. That second was enough. Alina leapt onto its back and grabbed one of the cooling vents. She slammed her bleeding fist into the vent cover again and again. The pain was blinding, but the cover broke open. Steam burst out. The beast roared, mechanical and terrible. It shook, trying to throw her off, but she held on, jamming her sharp. Stone deep inside the vent. Sparks flew. The machine staggered. Then it fell forward, crashing into the ground. The crowd was silent, then a few gasps, then more. She won. She beat VOR-KORR. With nothing. Alina stood over the wreckage. her chest rising and falling. She raised her hand high and showed them the sharp piece of stone, bloody and blackened. "Next," she said. Hours earlier, before the trial, Elena had woken up in a cold, metal room. She was alone, except for the voice in her ear. It was General Merrick, Earth's war leader. "Elena, you've been selected." The alien council agreed. "To the ancient code, one human may fight in the trials. If you survive all rounds, Earth lives." She had laughed bitterly. "Why me?" "Because you volunteered when no one else did. I was a student. You were also top of your combat class. And you lost everything. That gives you fire." She closed her eyes. Her parents, her brother gone when the orbital bombs hit. Maybe this was her way to fight back. The general's voice grew softer. "No one expects you to win, not even us. But if anyone can surprise them, it's you." The door opened, and the guards came to take her. Now back in the arena, Elena was taken away after the fight. 2 insect-like guards escorted her. Glowing halls. Cameras followed her every step. They locked her in a small cell. No bed, no water. Just a bench and silence. But Elena didn't cry. She looked at her hands, one bleeding, one shaking. She smiled faintly. She had survived. In the observation tower, the judges argued among themselves. She is clever. That's dangerous. She was lucky, nothing more. Still, she beat Vorkor. That has never happened. The apex warrior sat alone in the corner, watching the screen. He was silent, his eyes glowing faintly. "She is different," he whispered. "This one might reach me." On Earth, people watched the trial on screens. Families held their breath. Children cried. Soldiers cheered. "She's still alive," someone whispered. Elena's name began to trend across every city. Her face appeared. On walls, on ships, on wrist-devices. She had become a symbol. Not of hope, of defiance. In her cell, Elena leaned against the wall. She could barely keep her eyes open. Tomorrow would bring the next round. She had no idea what she would face. But her heart whispered the same words, again and again. "They want to break me. Let them try." The crowd was louder today. Aliens filled the stadium again, their faces pressed against glowing shields. The fight from yesterday had spread across the galaxy. News headlines screamed, "Human girl defeats machine beast." Elena Cross, is Earth hiding warriors? But some still believed it was luck. They would find out today. In her cell, Elena sat cross-legged on the cold floor. Her arm was still sore. No one had treated it. There was no food, no medicine, only silence and her own heartbeat. She stared at her reflection in the wall, tired eyes, cracked lips, dirt across her face. But the fire in her chest hadn't gone out. The small speaker crackled. A female voice spoke this time. "Next trial in 30 minutes. Opponent, Varnak of Sirith. Weapon allowed, 1. She stood slowly, her joints aching. "What kind of weapon?" "You may choose." A hatch opened. Inside were 3 options. Long metal staff, a jagged dagger, a spiked chain. She looked at each. The staff was too slow, the dagger too short. The chain. Maybe. She grabbed the chain. Heavy, flexible, dangerous. Weapon accepted. The arena today, the floor was smooth, shining steel under blinding lights. No cover, no shadows, no places to hide. Elena stepped out. The crowd roared. Signs flashed in alien scripts. Some cheered. Others booed. And then the gate across from her opened. A creature crawled out, its body clicking with every step. 6 arms, each tipped with blades. A long tail with a stinger. It moved low and fast like a predator from a nightmare. Opponent, Varnak of Sirith. Assassin caste. Trained in 173 kills. The voice added, "Time limit, none, death required." Varnak hissed. Its voice echoed like knives scraping glass. "You are soft. You bleed too fast. This will be short." Elena spun the chain once, testing its weight. "You talk too much." She replied. "The fight begins." The gong sounded. Varnak dashed forward, faster than any human could move. Elena barely dodged. One blade nicked her leg. She rolled, swung the chain toward its eyes. It ducked. It came again, low this time, spinning its body like a wheel of death. Blades flashed in every direction. She jumped back, heart pounding. Too fast. Too many arms. "I need space." Varnak leapt, aiming to pin her. Elena fell backward and kicked up with both feet. The move surprised it, just enough for her to wrap the chain around its front leg. She pulled hard. It stumbled. That's when she struck, spinning the chain fast and slamming the metal spike into its side. Black blood splashed. The crowd gasped, but Varnak didn't scream. It didn't feel pain like humans did. Instead, it laughed and disappeared. A trap of shadows. The lights in the arena flickered. Suddenly, Elena couldn't see it. She turned in circles, chain ready. Her breath came fast now. From the speakers, a whisper. "The Seraph can bend light. He's cloaked. Listen, don't look." She froze. A drop of blood hit the ground near her foot. She turned and swung wildly. Nothing. Another drop on her shoulder. Above. She dove just as Varnak dropped from the ceiling. Its blade scraped her back. She rolled away and swung upward, catching its tail mid-air. The spike bit into it. Varnak screamed and became visible again. Enraged, it rushed her. She was ready. She ducked under the first swing, trapped one of its arms with the chain, and yanked downward. Then she headbutted it hard. Even alien skulls have weak spots. It staggered. She wrapped the chain around its throat and began to pull. Varnak thrashed violently, cutting her arms and legs, but she didn't let go. Blood ran down her face. She bit down on her own screen. Then snap. Varnak collapsed. The crowd froze. Silence. The judges didn't speak. The audience didn't move. Then one alien stood and bowed slightly. The others followed. For the first time in trial history, an assassin had been defeated by a human. Backstage, Elena limped to her cell. Her whole body hurt. Blood soaked through her shirt. A medic droid entered. She raised a shaky hand. "No, I'm fine." The droid beeped and left. She sat down, stared at the wall. "Two down. How many more?" The speaker crackled again. "Next opponent, scheduled for 36 hours. Rest while you can." She closed her eyes. Just for a moment. In the observation tower, the apex warrior watched the footage. "She adapts too fast," he said. The golden judge shook his head. "She's flesh. She breaks soon." The apex warrior turned. "She is Earth. She fights like she has no choice. That's dangerous." On Earth, Elena's second victory was broadcast across every channel. Children made drawings of her. Soldiers trained using her moves. Even leaders began to hope. One old general said, "She's not just surviving. She's winning. That means we have a chance." In the deep cells, Varnak's body was taken away. A new challenger watched the screen in a dark chamber. A thin smile curled across its sharp lips. "Let's see how she handles poison." 36 hours. Later, Elena stood again under the alien sun. Her wounds had only half healed. Her ribs ached. A deep cut on her leg was still wrapped in dirty cloth. She hadn't eaten. She hadn't slept much, but she was ready, because if she stopped fighting, Earth would burn. The arena, this time, was different. A thick green mist rolled across the floor. The air was heavy, smelled like acid and rot. Even breathing hurt. A glowing voice spoke overhead. "Round 3. Opponent Gisor, the venom-blooded, former death champion of the Araka swamps. Record, 93 wins, 0 losses." Elena squinted. Into the mist. A figure moved, long and thin. Slithering, almost floating, Gisor came into view. He looked part snake, part insect. 6 legs. No face, just a glowing mouth full of small, sharp teeth. Tubes ran through his body, pumping, glowing. Green fluid. He hissed. You're already dying, human. The poison is in the air. You breathe it. It eats you. Elena felt it. Her throat burned. Her lungs felt tight. She forced a grin. You talk more than the last guy. The fight begins. The gong rang. Elena moved, fast, rushing to get out of the densest fog. But the arena had changed. No clear ground. No walls. Just haze and twisted shapes. Giant bones. Old wreckage. She climbed over something that looked like a dead creature's ribcage. A sharp hiss came from behind. She turned. Too late. Jizora's whiptail lashed across her back, sending her flying. She hit the ground hard, rolled, spit blood. Jizor crept closer, still slithering sideways. My blood is poison. My breath is poison. My bite death in seconds. He raised one clawed hand. A drop of green liquid dripped from his fingertip. Elena didn't answer. She kicked dirt in his face and ran. The chase. Jizor followed, silent, fast. He knew this arena. He controlled the poison. Elena ducked under a fallen structure. Her vision swam. She coughed black blood. Poison's working, she thought. Time is short. She had to end it fast. Flashback hours before, inside her dark cell. A whisper came from the wall speaker. It was a secret message. From General Merrick. This one's different, Elena. No direct fight. Find the venom tank. We believe his strength depends on it. She whispered back. How? We intercepted a blueprint. Tank's hidden under the center pillar. Break it and his system collapses. Got it. She wiped sweat from her brow. Just need to live long enough to get there. Back to the arena. Elena reached the center pillar, a giant bone-like tower covered in slime and wires. Jizor hissed. From behind her. He was almost on her. She saw the hatch barely visible. She grabbed a piece of metal pipe and smashed it open. Green liquid sprayed out. Jizor screamed, a high, terrible noise. His tubes began to shake. The glowing liquid inside his body went dim. What have you done? Elena stood, bloody, coughing, but alive. I cut your power line. Jizor lunged. She sidestepped, slashed at one of his tubes with the broken pipe. It burst. He staggered. She kicked him in the chest, again and again, until he fell backward into the leaking venom. His own poison ate through his armor. His body twitched, melted, then went still. The crowd was silent. Even the judges didn't speak. Third fight. Third win. Observation tower. The apex warrior watched the screen carefully. She should be dead. One judge growled. She will be soon. The apex warrior said nothing. He leaned closer to the screen. For the first time in many years, he felt curious. Medical chamber. Lena collapsed after the fight. This time, the medics were ordered to help her, but only enough to keep her alive. Tiny machines stitched her wounds. Poison was drained from her blood. She was unconscious for 2 hours. When she woke, a single word was written on the wall in her language. Next, she smiled weakly. Good, I was getting bored. On Earth, celebrations broke out across human cities. Not because she survived, because she was winning. People held signs. Elena Cross, the trial breaker. Flesh beats steel, heart beats poison. The mood shifted. Now Earth wasn't just waiting. It was believing. Elsewhere, in a dark room, the next opponent watched the recordings. It was tall, heavy, covered in armor made from the bones of a dying star. Had only one word written across its chest plate. Devourer. It didn't speak. It simply waited. Arena control room. Before the match, 3 alien judges stood in silence, watching Elena's fights. One slammed his hand on the control table. 3 wins. No species has ever done this. This human must fall. The apex warrior spoke softly. You've tested her with machines, poison, shadows. You failed. Another judge growled. Then it's time, send in him. The apex warrior turned away. If you use Devour, understand this. There's no mercy. Elena's cell. 12 hours later. Elena stood in front of the mirror staring at her reflection. Her arms were wrapped in old cloth, scars across her back. Eyes sunken, but burning with fire. She wasn't the same girl who had walked into the arena 3 days ago. The speaker crackled. Next match. Opponent, Devourer. Strength class, planetary level. No weapon allowed. She blinked. No weapon? Only fists, one-on-one, survival unlikely. She touched the small photo of her brother taped to the wall. Tell Mom, I'll try. The arena, this time, it was stone. The floor was black rock. Cracked, ancient. Above. Hundreds of alien species watched from ships floating in orbit. This was no longer just a match. It had become a war of symbols. Earth's honor. The Empire's control. Elena stepped onto the battlefield with no armor. No weapon, just blood, bruises, and determination. The ground rumbled. Across from her, a giant emerged, the Devourer, over 10 feet tall, armor made from neutron star fragments. A massive jawplate that could crush metal. Eyes like cold fire. It didn't roar. It didn't speak. It just stared. The gong rang. Elena didn't move. She knew one wrong step and she'd die. Devourer charged like a collapsing building. She dove aside barely, avoiding a blow that cracked the ground where she stood. She sprinted using her speed. Hit him with a punch. It was like punching a wall. Her knuckles split. He swung a fist like a hammer. She ducked, felt wind on her hair. She jumped, landed on his back, started climbing. Thud. He slammed his back into a wall, trying to crush her. She let go just in time. Round after round, Elena fought like a flame in a storm. She couldn't hurt him, but she could wear him down. She targeted the same joint over and over. His right knee, his left elbow. She threw dirt in his eyes. She screamed when he grabbed her, then bit his wrist to escape. Blood filled her mouth. But she didn't stop. Then came the breaking moment. He caught her, lifted her high. And threw her across the arena. She hit the stone wall, hard, didn't move. The judges leaned forward. A voice announced, trial over. Human unconscious, victory. Devour, no. The crowd turned. She was standing. Barely. Bloody. Shaking. One eye swollen shut, but alive. I'm not done, she whispered. The final gambit. The Devourer rushed her again. This time she didn't dodge. She ran toward him. At the last second, she slid under him, grabbed a jagged piece of broken stone, and shoved it into his knee joint. He dropped to one leg. She climbed up again, this time faster. She jammed her fingers under his neckplate and ripped out one of his coolant tubes. Green vapor hissed out. The Devourer roared for the first time. It was hurt. She jumped down, limping away, breathing fire. It charged blind with rage. She led it to a cracked spot in the ground and dove aside at the last second. The Devourer stepped on the weak spot and fell, half his body crushed through ancient stone into darkness. He roared, struggling. Elena walked over slowly, carefully. She stood on the edge, looked down at him. And whispered, Earth doesn't break. Then she kicked the last piece of stone holding him, and he fell. Silence. Again. No one cheered. They just stared. Elena Cross had defeated the Empire's strongest living weapon. With nothing but her hands, observation tower, the apex warrior finally spoke. She does not fight like a soldier. She fights like a people with nothing left to lose. Medical room. She was carried out on a hover bed. Unconscious. Barely breathing, but alive. Machines kept her heart beating. The doctors whispered, she needs days to recover. But the message came through. Next trial, 48 hours. Earth. Underground base. Humans watched from secret bunkers. Generals wept. Civilians prayed. An old commander stood and saluted the screen. She's doing what no army could. She's reminding them what being human means. In the Empire's prison depths, behind steel walls, a strange figure sat in a locked room watching Elena's fights. It was thin, pale, eyes like black. Mirrors, a label on the wall read, Project 9, Human Genetic, Mutation, Terminated. But Project 9 whispered softly, she reminds me of home. Location, Level 43, Imperial Research Prison. The lights were dim. Walls were covered in rust and fungus. A door slid open with a screech. Inside sat Project 9, a human, but not fully. He was tall, thin, skin pale like moonlight. His hair was white, eyes completely black. His arms had strange veins glowing blue. He looked at the screen showing Elena's last fight. She was bloodied, bruised, but standing tall. He whispered, she's still human. She remembers. Flashback to 17 years ago, Earth. A secret lab. Dozens of children were taken orphans. Lost kids. Street survivors. They were used for testing by Earth's own secret military programs. They were injected, modified, pushed past human limits. Only one survived, Subject 9. But when Earth shut the program down, the child was sold to the Empire to stop a war. Now he sat here half alien, half human, forgotten. Until today. Present, Research Director's office. An alien scientist watched Elena's battles. He frowned. She has no enhancements, no implants, yet she's winning. The Apex Warrior stood in the shadows. There is one other like her. Older, forgotten. The director blinked. Project 9? Yes. He's unstable. He refused combat. Doesn't speak. He's watching now. Let him choose. Back to level 43. The screen went dark. The voice of the AI spoke through the wall. Project 9, you have been selected. Do you accept the trial? Silence. He stood slowly, looked at his hands. The veins pulsed again bright. She's the last piece of me I recognize. I accept. Meanwhile, Elena's recovery room. Her ribs were wrapped. Her right hand in a brace. Her face full of cuts and bruises. She opened her eyes. General Merrick's face appeared on a nearby screen. You should rest. I can't. They're sending someone else. He's not like the others. Stronger? No, human, Elena frowned. You're saying they're sending one of ours to kill me? He didn't answer. Day of the fight, Arena 5. No crowd this time. No announcements. Just silence. Elena walked onto the stone. Floor still limping. She looked across. A tall man in black rags stepped forward, his eyes empty. He looked human but moved like something more. She tilted her head. Who are you? His voice was soft. They call me 9. She blinked. You're human? What's left of me? The fight begins. He didn't attack. He just watched her. She circled him. Slow. He moved with grace. Too fast, too calm. Suddenly, he vanished, reappeared behind her. She dodged. Barely. He hit her with a short, precise blow, almost gentle. But it sent her flying backward. She coughed blood. Stood again. You're holding back. I don't want to kill you. Then don't. I don't get to choose. They control the pain. He showed his arm. Metal burns under his skin. If I disobey, I suffer. The bond. They fought for minutes like dancers. He would strike. She would dodge. She would punch. He would redirect. Neither wanted to hurt the other. She gasped. Why are you helping them? I'm not, but I can't stop either. Suddenly, his body locked. He screamed in pain, his back arching. The Empire had triggered his obedience chip. Kill her now. He lunged forward, eyes glowing, hands like claws. She braced, but just as he reached her, he stopped. His hands trembled inches from her face. Do it, she whispered. If you're really gone. He blinked. His lips moved silently. Then a whisper. I remember the stars over New York. He turned his hands and stabbed himself with his own spike. The chip in his spine exploded. He collapsed. Medical sirens blared. Elena dropped to her knees beside him. Why did you do that? He smiled weakly. You reminded me what I was. Now you go finish it. He touched her chest right above her heart. Whatever they throw at you now. You're not alone. In the observation room, the apex warrior watched the feed. The judges were furious. He turned on us. This is treason. The apex warrior only said, no, it is human. Earth, underground archive scientists watching the feed searched their records. One old man stared at the screen in shock. That was Subject 9. He survived. All these years? He put his hand to the glass. Elena's not the first, but she may be the last. Elena stands alone. She walks out of the arena. Not because she won, but because someone else chose to lose. So she could keep going. She looked up at the stars and said only 2 words, for 9. Scene, Imperial Hall of Judgment, orbiting arena complex. The room was cold, giant, stone walls carved with scenes of past victories. But this time, the room was quiet. Judges stared at the screen. The human girl had defeated beasts, machines, poisons. Even Project 9. She had survived everything. The chief judge finally stood. We end this now. Let our greatest rise. Across the hall, standing still like a statue, the apex warrior opened his eyes. At last. Elena's recovery. Room 6 hours later, Elena sat on the edge of her bed. Her body still bruised. Her right arm shaking. She was eating cold protein paste. A nurse whispered, they've sent their best. Let me guess. Not a monster, not a beast, not a weapon. No, the nurse said. A legend. Who was the apex warrior? Had no name, only title. Apex. He had never lost a duel. He once ended a war with a single spear. His voice made lesser. Soldiers tremble. He fought not for cruelty, but for order. He's not evil, said one general. He simply believes humans must stay small. He believes in the balance. The night before the battle, Elena walked alone through the arena tunnels. She looked up through the glass ceiling. Saw stars, she whispered to herself. One more. Just one more. Behind her, a quiet voice said, Are you afraid? She turned. He was already there. The apex warrior, wearing no armor, only black robes, no weapons. Should I be? She asked. He walked beside her. You've beaten monsters. I am not a monster. Then what are you? He smiled. The final mirror. The arena final duel chamber. This chamber was different. It had no walls, only light. The arena floated in space, surrounded by nothing but stars. Billions of alien eyes watched from orbiting ships. This was not a match anymore. It was history. Elena stepped in wearing light armor. The apex warrior stepped in bare hands, calm. He bowed. Win or lose, you've changed the galaxy. I didn't come to change it, she replied. I came to survive it. Round 1, testing limits. He moved first. She didn't even see him strike. Her body flew backward, skidding. Across the arena. She got up, groaning. You're fast. You're slow, he said simply. She ran in, punched high. He blocked. She kicked low. He flipped over her. She spun, but he was gone. A strike hit her spine, her chest, her leg. Every move was perfect. Round 2. Pain and persistence. Blood dripped from her mouth, her shoulder dislocated. She reset it with a scream. Charged. Again. He hit her twice. She hit him once. He staggered. His lip bled. It was the first time in decades. He smiled. You learn. Humans adapt, she spat. Round 3. The storm breaks. Now they clashed like fire and steel. Every hit thundered like drums. She rolled. Flipped, kicked. He blocked, parried, countered. At one moment, they both hit at the same time. Both fell back. Both breathed hard. He looked at her, eyes curious. You're not just strength. You're will. The turning point. He charged again. She didn't dodge. She let him hit her, took the blow to her ribs, heard a crack, but in that moment, she locked her arms around his neck. She twisted, used his own weight, and slammed him into the floor, the arena. Shook. Silence followed. He didn't get up right away. Apex's decision. He looked up at her. Blood on his mouth. One eye dark. She raised her fist. He didn't move. Do it, he said. End it. She stared at him. Then lowered her fist. No, you're not the enemy. He blinked. You passed. What? He stood slowly. The trial was never about killing. It was about proving if humans deserved a seat, or a chain. She stared in disbelief. You mean ... double quotes. You passed every test, including mercy. The arena opened, light beams surrounded them. Alien leaders stood. One by one, they began to kneel, not to Elena, but to the idea. She represented ... to humanity rising, after the trial, back. In her room, Elena cried alone. She didn't feel strong. She didn't feel victorious. She felt broken, but free. A message arrived on the screen. Earth has been granted alliance status. The war is over, she smiled weakly. We're not slaves. Not anymore. The apex warrior, walking away. He stood on a cliff, looking at the stars. Someone asked him, You let her win? He replied, No, she beat me. And maybe ... I needed to lose. Location, Imperial Core Command Citadel. Capital planet Dravith. The trial was supposed to break her. Instead, it broke something else. The Empire's unity. News of Elena's victory spread faster than light. Billions saw her defeat the apex warrior. Millions cheered. But not everyone was pleased. The High Council met in a black glass chamber. Each alien leader represented a powerful world. One slammed the table. We let a primitive species defeat our champion. Another replied coldly, We didn't let her. She earned it. You call this honor, I call it weakness. Factions began forming. One whispered, If the apex warrior can lose, what else have we lied about? Elena, under watch, though declared a hero, Elena was not free. She now lived in a golden prison, under protection. Guards followed her everywhere. No weapons. No privacy, no rest. I survived the trial, she muttered. Now I'm stuck in a different kind of cage. One alien diplomat, a quiet being named Viren, visited her. Do you understand what your victory has done? It gave Earth a voice, she said. No, it gave hope to others. Dangerous hope. Other races begin to rise, on slave planets. Whisper networks activated. Young rebels chanted, If the human girl stood alone, ... so can we. In the mines of Galther, slaves refused to work. In the Frostworld Vanek, prisoners burned their chains. On the insect world Zurith, Queen stopped sending taxes. The Empire was cracking. The apex warrior speaks. He stood before the Imperial Senate, first time in centuries. All lights dimmed. He spoke calmly. The trial was followed correctly. The human passed it. Your fear is not with her, it is with truth. A loud counselor shouted, We made you to protect our rule. Now you praise our defeat? I was made to protect order, he replied. Not lies. Silence followed. He left the chamber, not as a tool, but as a free being. Elena's escape. Late one night. Alarms blared. Her guards rushed to her door. Too late. She was already gone. Camera showed only a flash of white light, and then darkness. Empire suspected Earth had secretly extracted her, but truth was stranger. She was taken by someone else. The Outworlders. Who were the Outworlders? They were not part of the Empire. Not part of Earth. They were old. Hidden. Watching. Some said they were the first spacefaring race. Long gone, but never extinct. Now, for the first time in 10,000 years. They acted, because they had seen what Elena had done. She is not just a survivor, one of them said. She is a spark. The human council back on Earth. Leaders watched all this unfold. Some wanted to celebrate, others wanted control. One general whispered, "Now is the time to strike." "We can rise," another warned. "If we act too early, we burn." Then, a message came from unknown origin message. "The fracture has begun. Hold your ground. Wait for the collapse." Signed, Empire in Chaos, Riots, Protests, a general declared. Independence. The Empire's oldest ally turned its fleet around, and in secret, many started to prepare for war. But some wanted peace. Some believed in change. Quiet movement began. The Elena Doctrine: no more slaves. No more trials. No more silence. The apex warrior's final stand. He stood on the bridge of an ancient warship. Alone. Watching two fleets prepare for battle. His ship moved between them. He sent only one message: "I will not let this galaxy fall into war again." They told him to move. He didn't. Both sides opened fire. His ship destroyed in one blast. But both fleets paused. Ashes from his ship drifted between them. One young alien captain whispered, "He died to stop us." He died like her, standing alone. Elena deep in the stars. She sat in a small room, somewhere light couldn't reach. One outworlder stood beside her. "You will return soon." "To fight?" "No, to lead." She looked uncertain. "I'm just a girl who wanted to live." "Exactly," the being replied. "And that's why they'll follow you." End scene. The galaxy at the edge. 1,000 planets hold their breath. Old powers crumble. New voices rise. And from the shadows. A message repeats on every hidden network. The Empire is not broken yet, but it is breaking. The trial is over. The real war is coming.